What does an X-ray or an MRI really tell you about your hip function and your hip pain if you're someone who's dealing with FAI or think you have FAI or have been told you have FAI? Well, the conclusions that I'm coming to are kind of surprising to me, so I wanted to share them with you. So just to set a little background, a couple weeks ago I got an X-ray on my right hip to check for FAI. I'd been told many years ago I had FAI, but it's been a long time since I had an X-ray, so I wanted to see what was going on in there. So I went and got the X-ray, and they basically told me, you have FAI. I had too much bone here and here. So I had too much bone on the femoral neck, the femoral head, and I also had a subcondral cyst that showed up on the X-ray. So I didn't have any pain or symptoms. I've worked my way out of that, but the doctor said, you know, if you want to go a little deeper and see what's going on in the labrum and things like that, you should get an MRI. So I thought about it, curiosity got the better of me, and I went and got an MRI. So these are the results of the MRI. Basically, it confirmed, you do have cam impingement morphology in your right hip. It showed that I had a paralabral cyst, which is often associated with labral tears, highly associated with labral tears. And in years past, I've had all of the signs and symptoms of a labral tear. Pain in the groin, pain in the front of the hip, pain in the glutes, pain in the back, hip instability, popping, clicking, things like that. So that makes sense. Although I don't have that anymore, which we'll get into a little bit later. And the doctor said, the progression is the cysts almost always turn into a labral tear if you don't have it already. She said you can get an MRI arthrogram to double confirm that you have a labral tear, but it looks like it. And a labral tear turns into degenerative arthritis. So I told her I don't have any pain or problems. I can run, I can squat, I can do all these things. Do you recommend surgery? She was like, well, maybe you're not the best candidate, but you should get looked at by a specialist because way down the road it'll lead to degenerative arthritis. So my conclusions, well, one last thing. The last finding, which was kind of at the end of the whole MRI report, which I found very interesting, the last finding said my myotendinous structures were all normal. And specifically, they referenced my adductor tendons and my rectus femoris kind of attachment points. And they said that these muscular structures were all normal. And several years ago, they were very not normal. They were very dense and junky and painful. But to me, this is like the crux of the whole thing. My muscles are normal because I've made them that way, but I've got bad bones and I have no symptoms and no pain. So if you're getting an MRI, if you're getting an X-ray report, take it with a grain of salt. Don't think it's the holy grail. And if you have some kind of bony abnormality, if you have a cyst, if you have a small labral tear or something, that it is the death sentence, period, because it's not, because I'm a living example of that. I have all of those problems. I had a lot of pain. I worked on the muscles. I have no more pain. I have full function. I can run, squat, bike, swim, do the splits, all of the above. And I don't say that to brag. I say that to illustrate the point that you can give slack and space to your hip even with bad bones, even with a cyst in there, even with a tear in the labrum. And as long as it's not getting worse, which I think if you work on the muscles in the ways that we describe in a lot of our videos, it won't get worse. It'll get better and better and better. And it's not just gonna magically turn into degenerative arthritis. All of a sudden you're gonna wake up one day. If it improves by working on the muscles, you have a pretty safe bet that it's not just gonna magically all collapse down the road. But the trick is you've got to do the daily work, the weekly work, to keep things supple, soft, full range of motion in all directions. And that's the trick. So check out many of the other videos we've created. Email me with any questions you got. But I found this to be very eye-opening that both the X-ray and the MRI said that I have a lot of problems, but functionally and pain-wise, better than normal. So there's hope. Keep at it. Talk to you soon.